When I was little, my father was famous. He was the greatest samurai in the empire. He cut off the heads of 131 lords. He was the greatest samurai in the empire. And he took me with him.
Hey everybody, good morning. It is Sunday morning, December 2nd, and I apologize for my tardiness, dealing with a little bit of drama on the side on the Discord channel. And I'm going to actually, I wasn't planning on doing this, but I'm going to address it here because this is part of the drama. I'm being asked on the Discord 1 minute before going live to have a conversation about something that's personal. And I'm not going to name the person's name. People on Discord know who I'm talking to. The reason you are in the situation you are now is because you bring drama to my life. I'm a grown-ass man. I don't have time for drama. Ever since and can I be heard okay? Good. Ever since I've known you, it's been drama. I first was introduced to you by you hitting me up on emails, asking questions, and then having a certain level of expectation of a response because you were a fan. You are literally the only fan I've ever had, the only supporter I've ever had that has taken so much ownership and felt like you deserved something from me because of your support. And you know, I thanked you for your support, and so I gave you a certain amount of permissions in my social circle, and you took advantage of it, and you brought drama to my life. You don't see it, you're blind to it, and that's all well and good. If you don't think it's there, I don't have time for it. That's what I don't. When you say, is that your answer? Yes, my answer is I don't have time for drama or desire to deal with it. And so I won't. I'm sorry. I hate to fire a fan. Do what you're going to do. Have whatever issues you have with other mods, have any issues with other YouTube users, whatever. Just don't bring them to me because I don't care. It's not my business. It doesn't need to be at my doorstep. So I hate to start this thing out like this, people, but literally the reason I am late is because someone was specifically trying to get my attention at the last second when my whole point was, don't bring me drama. So that's that there. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to try to keep this one short. I pushed it back a little late. One, because I needed to go out and do a little sunrise moon filming. I'll talk about that in a moment. But I had a really late night. Yesterday was a long day. I had my ninth, I think it's my ninth belt. It's a belt test. Yesterday it was 4.5 hours of constant action. Passed my test, got my a dark blue belt, which is 3 from black in CLOT. But it was a burner of a day. It was just high impact, very high energy day. And it just carried on through the night. I couldn't get to sleep till 3 in the morning. And so I got up to do an 8 a.m. show, and I'm like, I'm not going to do an 8 a.m. show. I had to push it back. And so I'm starting late. I don't want to stay on for too long because I also want to get to writing some content for my next video, and if I can get a little voiceover done today. But yeah, so that's where I am today. I'm running a bit behind. My energy level's a little bit wonky because the last few days I was carb loading and getting myself up, and then yesterday I was just burning through everything. So things are that's where I am right now. So I apologize if I'm a little disjointed, and I apologize for making this one a little shorter being like an hour, but maybe that'll work a little bit better. Let me move my windows over. and so I can deal with. Let me see my mods. Thank you very much. Uh, I think that answered your question. Those of you over in the Discord who were asking for answers, if you were listening, and I know you are, you have your answer. And I'm not going to talk about it on the Discord on the side while I'm in the middle of doing a show. Just not going to happen. All right, what else? Who else? Let's see who's in the room. I'm sorry. I'm going to scroll back a little ways to see who's in the room. Starhawk, I don't know if you're still in there. I'm gonna roll backwards so I know people who are in the room. Hey, what's up, Team Skeptic? How you doing? Yeah, watch your spelling there, bud. Tech Satan, nice to see you. I'm going to mention you in a moment. Over the lines in the room, nice to have you here. I see your comment was NASA lies. That's all right. Still nice to have you in the room. Yes, actually, hold on a second. I'm going to set a reminder to myself to mention that. Let's see. Graham, can you post a link when I talk about it? Can you post a link to Where's Wally's video? If you can grab that to the side, that would be great. I'm going to talk about my upcoming video, and if you can post a link to Where's Wally's, that would be great so people in the room can see. And you're trying to bring drama here. Okay, so now everybody knows the person is Anne. I'm not blocking people. I don't block people who disagree with me. Are you blocked? No. You tend to actually agree with me. You just don't agree with the fact that I took your mod away. You don't agree with the fact that I'm not allowing you to have powers on the Discord. And so now you're complaining. I don't block people that disagree with me. It's interesting. Okay, so this is the thing. This is what I mean by drama. This is a grown ass man, and as far as I know, is a grown ass man. From personal email, that's a man's name. So as far as I know, Anne is a grown ass man. But there's been a disagreement with Anne and someone else on the Discord server about permissions and things. And so there's been back and forth. And I've said, I have no time for drama. I've literally said that. And so Anne wanted to have mod and did want the other person to have mods, and I gave both mods. So Anne said, I don't want to be on this server if this person has mods, and flounced away. Literally quit, left the server because they didn't want to be a part of it because this other person had mods. And then came back this week and said, hey, why don't I have higher position permissions so I can mod people? I'm like, because you gave drama. Oh, and since I just now noticed you because I had forgotten about you, I took away your mod here. And now, of course, you're complaining about me blocking you. Yes, I will talk to you like I will talk to you like I talk to everybody. I talk to everybody like they're a grown ass man. You're bringing drama. You're not acting like a grown ass man. You're complaining about what another mod does, and you come to me like I'm the teacher and you complain. Handle your shit somewhere else. Just do that. Why can't you just do that? Why are you complaining? Just handle your business, but don't handle it at my doorstep. So talk to me. Tell me. Okay, hold on a second. Let's do this here. I'm going to do this real quick. Screenshot before it goes away. Bing, 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 bing. Up, and it's going away. Bam. All right. Now, let me put the screenshot up so I can do this. See, this is what I mean by drama, people. This is what I mean. But it's going to be, this person is going to be on the chat dealing with this. So I'm going to quickly do this here. Now I'm going to share my screen. I'm not looking at the chat right now. Oh, hold on. Let me slow that chat down. It is moving too fast. Here we go. Let's enable slow mode, and we're going to make it 45 seconds. Slow things down. All right. Now I'm going to go back here to the control room. Give me a second as I talk through everything I do. Mhm. I'm going to share my screen with you people, with you folks. Mhm. One sec. Here we go. Let's share this right here. All right. This is Anon. It's a recent post. Anon, who will remain anonymous, uh, is asking, okay, so talk to me. Tell me why you removed my permissions. Okay. That's the question. Now I'm going to address this, and this person's going to act like I'm not addressing it, but I will. So let's go back to here. Why I removed your permissions? Because the second you got permissions, you started making changes uh, without asking first, which is fine. They weren't terrible changes. And then when someone asked you about it, you brought drama to the situation. You accused them of bringing drama, but then you came to me and said, this person's saying this to me. This person's saying that. I want to get rid of their permissions. Will you please get rid of their permissions so they don't bug me about this? They're changing the things I want to change. Will you please remove them? I don't have time for that. And then after things were taken care of, you still came to me and said, this is what that person did. They're acting childish. I don't want to be part of a server if they're going to be part of the server. I don't have time for that. And so the reason I got rid of your permissions is so that you wouldn't be able to continue the drama. That's it. If you have a problem with that, tough shit. You want me to talk to you like you're a grown ass man? Tough shit. Moving on. Alrighty. Seriously, people, when you get a chance to remove overly dramatic elements from your life, uh, do so. It's quite freeing. All right. So I was in the middle of seeing who was in the room. So let's go back to the room. Sorry, my screen refresh is taking a moment. I got a super chat from Anthony Garrett. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Let's see who's in the room. JK, hey, what's up? Tusk Music, Twitwit. Hey, I don't know whether to laugh out loud or shake my head with this either. All right. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see. Who else is in the room? And so I have some mods in the room. You can see by their wrench. I don't think Team Skeptic's particularly interested in this task, but let's see. We have Tech Satan in the room. We have who else is in the room? Check the folks with the wrenches. If you direct questions at them, they can post them to me on a side channel, so I can more likely see them because things tend to fly by and I miss things, and then people complain that I was ignoring their questions. So please please do that. So someone was just asking about, oh, hey, Chris Kelling, thank you very much for your super chat there. It's much appreciated. Keep fighting the good fight against the stupid. I will continue to do that as long as I am allowed. Uh, thank you very much. Let's see. Tragic Spastic, good morning. Is the super? What do people think about the super? Is the delay still too fast? Stream going too fast? I'll slow it down to. I'll slow it down to like 20 seconds. It's too slow. All right. I will give you guys a little bit more room. You realize a little bit more room to work with, so you can react a little bit faster. There you go. That should do it. 20 seconds. Let's get back in here. Yeah, I don't want it to be too frustrating for you folks. Let's see, live chat. Hmm. RapidX, thank you very much for coming. Hmm. Who else is in the room? Someone was just asking a question about religion and homosexuality, and I skipped past it because I was scrolling too fast. Where was it? I think someone was asking me if I wanted to make a video about religion. Okay, talking about religious arguments against homosexuality. Uh, I could, but I really don't care about the religious arguments against homosexuality. They have no value to me. They really don't. If you if your religion is against homosexuality, fine. Don't be gay in your religion. As long as you and I have no problem with that. If your religion has a problem with homosexuality, that's fine. Just don't bring it into the public sphere. Don't try to make laws about it. If you want to be discriminatory amongst your little group, go ahead. Well, as long as it doesn't come into your hiring practices, because your church is trying to get tax free, have tax free property. So then I have an issue with that. But if you're using that religious excuse to discriminate in the public sphere, which taking public funds and getting tax breaks is, then I have a problem with it. But you know, just don't bring it to the rest of the world. Keep it to yourself. You don't want it if you have a problem with homosexuality, don't be gay if that's possible for you, or don't be that religion if you understand that that religion has a problem with homosexuality. Someone trying to hit me up with audio. It's not going to happen. Whoever that is, sorry. Let's see what's going on in the room. Let's see if I'm getting any mod room. Excellent. Text Satan, leave it in the mod section where you are right now. So that's exactly where you should put it. Is there a mini ice age coming? I don't know. Someone's asking. As far as I know, there's not a mini ice age. I mean, it's always possible, the way things fluctuate. But right now, I think we have to deal with global warming, climate change, the way the heating, climate change first. And who knows, maybe we'll sometime beyond our lifetime, there might be a mini ice age, but it's not coming anytime soon. So continue to hit the mods with questions. I actually have a couple things I want to talk about while those build up, and so I'm going to get to those. So let's see. Let me share my screen. And yes, I do hum. All right. Okay. First off, I do have a Patreon. And if you are so inclined to become a patron, you will have access to many of my videos, most of them. Every so often, I want a quick turnaround on them, so they come out here. But I put them on the Patreon first for a day or two, and get the reaction from the patrons first. Usually, it's in more raw form. It doesn't necessarily have everything that the final video is going to have. It usually doesn't have intros and outros and all that kind of stuff. But it gives you access to videos sooner than they go public on YouTube. So that's a perk you have there. I also kind of telegraph some of the things that I'm going to do. I put up short videos about what's upcoming. And so if you're interested in my content and you want to see more and you want to see it sooner, being a patron is one of the things you can do. I'm not doing this for the money, but the fact is time is money, and if I want to continue putting out content and taking time away from my family and things like that to do that, um, it's in my best interest to get a little bit of something to help that out. So yes, please, always subscribe if you like my work, pass it on. But if you want to have a little bit more, those of you who are doing super chats, I appreciate them greatly. But for the $5 super chat, you could do a $1 a month Patreon membership, and then you get some perks for it. It's cost, it's uh, the same output on your end, but I'm giving you something back, and I much rather give you something back for your money than just take your money through a super chat. So those of you who are doing a super chat, I appreciate it, but please consider doing Patreon at a lower amount. Some of you have given me $10, but hey, $1 a month for 10 months gets you something, and it doesn't cost you any more. So please keep that and take that into consideration. Now, this here, the other day I watched a video of D marbles, and I tried to. I'm going to actually go back on screen here. Hold on a second. Okay, so the other day I tried to get. I put on Twitter that I wanted to get on D Marble's show to talk to him, and actually I made a video, and I thought about putting it up. It was short. It was only a minute or so long, minute or two, and I thought about putting it up. But I didn't think he would see it, and two, if he doesn't see it, it's not of any value. And also, it might seem like I'm trying to get people to watch a video about D Marble, which wasn't my purpose of doing it. I wasn't trying to get views because I was making a video to D Marble. So I didn't put the video up. What I did is I put a message out on Twitter because I know he has me blocked, and I put a message out saying, "Hey, I'd like to talk to anybody. Know when his live show is, what time he actually broadcasts it, because he does a Friday show. Anybody know what time he does it? And can you get word to him that I'd like to come on his show to talk to him about a video of his? No joke. I would really like to talk to him about it." And a couple people responded. They reposted it. And I also said it was a video of his that I agreed with, and I wanted to talk to him about it. I prefaced it that way so people didn't think I was trying to set up some type of debate, some type of confrontation. But I also wanted to do it live on his show because, well, it didn't have to be live, but the reason I wanted to do it on his channel is because I didn't want people to think that I was trying to make money off of it, to try to get views off of it. I know it's completely possible that a conversation between the two of us, he and I, would gain more views because people are expecting there to be fire. And because of the topic that we were going to talk about, I wanted him to get those views. If because it's about something he said that I thought was important, and I wanted him to get those views. I didn't want him to be here. So sadly, this is going to be. I hope someone gets this to him. Actually, I sent him a message this morning saying I was going to talk about it on this live stream. And so then I tried to go on his live stream when he was live, and apparently I'm blocked from the chat. So when I put in the chat, no one saw that I was there, and so I wasn't able to get in. I couldn't even get attention to get in there, which was too bad because I actually wanted to talk about him something in a positive manner. So let me take this off. This isn't helping me in the slightest. We're not using this. I'm not listening to anything. And so I wasn't able to talk to him. So I have to resort to talking here. And so D Marble put out a video, and I'll put it up again real quick because I don't mind him getting views for this video. Let's see here real quick. Dun, 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 dun. So, D Marble put up this video, run in with racism at the Flat Earth conference. It went up maybe the day before Thanksgiving. I think it went up Thanksgiving. It might have gone up Thanksgiving, but it's gotten a number of views. Go take a look at it. Give it a few more views because I think it's kind of an important video to watch. And so I don't have no problem with him getting views off of this here. So this is his video. It's my run-in with racism at the Flat Earth Conference. So uh, if somebody sees that, maybe they can drop a link. I didn't set up a link for that. And in it, he talks about how he was in the hotel and there was something going on down the hall. So he opened up the door and kind of jokingly was like, "Hey, what's going on down here? Why are you guys making all this noise?" And whoever it was, uh, he described the person, thin, blonde person, uh, said, "Oh, you're on this floor. That's not going to work because I don't um, sleep in the same floor as black people." And that took him aback. And then the guy was like, as D like tried to dismiss him, the guy was like, "Hey man, I was just joking." He knows I was joking. And then apparently a few minutes later, the guy came down the hallway and knocked on the door and talked to him and said, you know, I was just joking about that. That was just me. Just fooling around. I don't have a problem. And D asked the guy to step back from the door, shut the door on him, considered going and confronting him, chose not to, found out who he was, went to unfriend him from Facebook because once he heard his name, he recognized it, so he knew the guy was following him on Facebook. Went to unfriend him on Facebook. The guy had already unfriended him, and so that was an incident that happened. And so I wanted to talk to D about it. And so this is a message to Daryl. I understand what you went through there. You and I have disagreed on many things, and we're going to disagree on a lot more things over time, I'm certain. But I want to just express my support for you and what happened in that situation. We've all been there. All of us, when I say we, all, black men, we've all been in that situation. Uh, and so I feel for you on that. You were in a situation that you shouldn't have had to do what you did. But because of the way, uh, at least in American society, the way things work, you had to act in a way that put the pressure on you. You mentioned something in your video about how the media paints black men in a certain light, and it's true. The media landscape does paint black men in this particular light. We're the kind of the boogeymen of American society in general. Now, boogeymen come and go in the media landscape. Um, it comes back and forth. It might be Middle Eastern people, it might be Mexicans, it might be other South American immigrants. I remember when I was younger, it was like uh, Laotians. They remember there was a whole thing about the boat people are coming. It was Laotians were a big thing, and then Middle Eastern people again. But the one thing that's kind of constant in American racism is fear of the black man. We're like the free bird of American racism. We're an old standby. We're always there. Young black men, even more so. Young black men are that much scarier. You don't get much scarier than that in the landscape of American racist fears. On top of that, Daryl, the fact that you're a black man that is willing to forthrightly speak your mind about what you believe in a genuine, self confident manner, whether or not I agree with it. Um, the fact that you're willing to do that makes you that much scarier in the American landscape. That's just a fact. And so you were put in a position that a lot of people don't understand. A lot of even my own viewers won't necessarily understand is that because of the situation you were in, you had to hold your tongue. You have you were at this convention and you're about to go make a speech. This is like 15 it was a little bit before you went out to do your own demonstration, your speech in front of this convention. You have an agenda. There was something you wanted to do. You have goals in life. One of them was to get this thing done that you needed to do. Uh, so you have tasks that you want to achieve. You have places you want to go. You have things you want to do. And in order to do that, you had to hold your tongue in that situation. You had to you had to suppress your anger, your frustration. You had to still those hands that you probably wanted to let fly on that person because you had things you wanted to do. And if you had done what deserved to be done, served that person what they deserved to be served, you would not have been able to do the things you want to do. You would have been seen as this angry black man that was being aggressive. Uh, and then you wouldn't have been able to achieve your goals. So you had an added pressure on you. And this is something that a lot of people don't necessarily understand that in America, the way racism works, black men have a lot of pressure on them to not be that guy, to have to take the high road, to have to be the grown up in this situation, even when they are wronged, in order to continue to have the freedoms to do what the things they want to do. You were put in that situation, and I feel for you for that, and I commend you for the way you acted. I could tell from your video that you were affected by it. It bothered you. You were hurt by it a little bit, and that's not to say that that you showed uh, any weakness or anything like that in your video. But it was obvious to me, having been in that situation, that it affected you, and you showed strength of character in dealing with it the way you did. And it's something that we I've had to do myself, and so I feel for what you had to do, and I wanted to say that to you. We've all been there. I wish I could say at the end of this thing, because I've been around for a while. I've been on this earth for 50 years, and I wish I could say that this is the part of the speech where I say, "Hey, it gets better." But like I said, I've been on this earth for 50 years, and that's just the burden we have. And I'm sorry you have to deal with it, but I feel for having dealt with it the way you did. And so that's what I wanted to tell you on the live chat. And I wanted to tell you there because I wanted to say it to your face as much as possible because I think it's important uh, that people in our situation, whether or not we agree with each other on other things, support each other in what is well known as the struggle. And because the struggle is real. So that is the message I have for you, Daryl. Uh, I know we're going to disagree on things in the future. I want you to take care, and I will see you out there next time. Okay. Alrighty. That was my message to Daryl. Now, moving on, let me go back and see what's going on in the chat. Oh, actually, there's something else I want to mention because I just saw something scrolling through there. Um, People have come on my channel. People have come to my videos uh, to defend me against and to criticize you, Daryl, to criticize Daryl, uh, and used racial slurs against him in defense of me, which I find fascinating. I don't under how. unclear on the concept are you that you support me and you try to do so by attacking Daryl as a black man. It's happened many a time. They've used racial slurs. They've just denigrated him because of his color, uh, and I won't tolerate it. Those people get blocked right off the bat. It's just not going to be tolerated. I don't want your support. I don't want your support if you're going to attack uh, D Marble on a racist basis. No, go somewhere else. Not here. And one thing that Daryl mentioned, and I hope you're still listening. One thing that he mentioned in his video was how this person tried to say he was joking, and they said, they tried to approach him and said that it's just his attempt at humor. And Daryl said in his video that, if you want to, if you and it was the message to to white people, if you want to approach, if you're approaching a black person and you want to break the ice with a joke or something, going toward racist jokes isn't the way to do it. And it's very true. But also, um, if you're a type of person, if you want to break the ice with a joke, this person you met for the first time, if you want to break the ice with a joke, and the thing that comes to your mind is a racist joke against that person, you may think it's a joke, but it's not. It was in your head as a thing to say to this person that you don't know. And you need to seriously consider why that was in your head. I have non-black friends. I have white friends. I'm a black man in America. I have white friends. That's the way it goes. But they'll make a race-based joke to me, but it's after having known me for a while and couched in a context that makes sense, in a way that is communicating to me that they understand the absurdity of the racist joke. But if you're meeting someone for the first time and you kind of toss out something that's racist and then you try to walk it back as a joke, you're lying to yourself because it was not a joke in your head. For some reason, that is what you thought of when you saw this person. I was in Marshall, Texas, in a law office, top floor, um, working with these clients, and I every so often I need to go into the meeting room where they are, and I have to say, hey, you need to get me this information. Here's a disk, put it on this disk, yeah, and I will get back to my area and I will take care of it. And so I walked into this room where these 4 or 5 gentlemen were having a meeting, but given my status in the war room, when I need something, I just need to go get it. So I walked up to this room. I walked into the room, signaled to somebody, uh, and they came over and I said, "Hey, we need to do this, and you need to get me this thing here." And he said, "Okay." And he went back to his desk, he went back to the table and started doing something because I gave him a drive. And one of the people in the room who I hadn't seen before said, um, "Hey, man, I thought you were the security guard." And I go, "Yeah." And I looked at him, and he kind of went, And I went, "Yeah, I get that sometimes." And he was like, "Hey, man, I was just, no offense." And it's like, no, you for some reason felt the need to say that. It was in your brain, and then you're trying to walk it back. It's like, no, I know you now. That was there for a reason. You stereotyped me because you didn't see me as someone who belonged in your realm, and so you stereotyped me. Uh, so you can try to and walk it back, but no, it was there. I know you now, and I'm literally going to put you on a list in my head of people that I have issues with. So no, don't uh, don't try to defend me against others using racial slurs. I don't. You're gone. And if your first thought with meeting a black person is to make a racist comment as a joke, then you seriously need to deal with understanding your own racism. So, there, let me finish my message. Back in the room, yes, Bjorn, stereotyping is hard to eliminate. It takes work. It takes work. And as you can see, we have we have Ann on now in the room, who is now apparently, my enemy, and is saying that I'm playing the black card. It's interesting how someone is a supporter of yours as long as they're getting what they want from you, and then the second they're not getting what they want from you, they turn against you, and you wonder why. I don't want you around. That's what I call bringing drama. Let's see. No, I don't need my Californian safe space. I don't know what your name's supposed to be. I talked to you on your show the other day when you were a little on the drunk side. So I don't really know what you. Oh, I think your name was Jim, Tim. No, I don't need my Californian safe space. Anywhere I am is a safe space for me because I insist on getting the respect that I deserve. So no, I don't need a California safe space. I bring uh, my safety with me, just being who I am. Let's see. Let's go through a little bit more. Uh, let's see. It's interesting that whatever your name is, Tim, Jim, you're saying I'm playing the victim card when I'm actually just discussing something that actually happened. Did you actually hear me say that I was victimized? Did I understand that you don't think particularly well sometimes, Jim, Tim, whatever your name was. Uh, that was evident in our conversation. But at no time during this conversation have I mentioned being victimized. Somehow you've read into the fact that someone makes a racial judgment against me that I consider myself victimized. That's on you. But at no point have I said here that I was victimized. Did I say that that guy made me feel diminished? That guy made me feel like I wasn't worthy? That I felt that my job was at issue or I was having something taken away from me? No, I haven't. It's just a fact. So I wasn't victimized at all. And for you to say that means you're not actually listening. That's what it tells me. Tim, Jim, whatever your name is. Let's see. Bum, bum, ba-dum. Yeah, that person might be button pushing, but people think that way, and so they need to be told what's going on. Uh, sup, El Boogie. Who else is in the room? Oh, it's Tim. Tim Osmond. Okay. Hey, what's up, Tim? Yeah. I don't know if you're playing devil's advocate here or not, and if you are, I apologize for being so forthright with you, but it didn't sound like you were, and so I don't want my words being taken out of context, and so that's why I'm addressing you that way. I have a super chat from Dubitat Ebrius. When am I next on Non Sequitur? I don't know. They're doing great content over there. I was back there in June, um, but I'm really busy these days. Um, I have just a lot of work. I have a lot of cases on my desk. I work in the area of law, so I have a lot of cases on my desk. I have some projects coming up of my own, and so finding time for that is slim. Sorry, I'm reading here. Let's see what else is going on. What else is going on? in here. At some point, I'm trying to get I'm talking to my office about getting the Dallas team skeptic. I want to go visit the Dallas office. Hopefully, be there for a few days, and then maybe you and I can hook up and maybe develop a little something, collab while I'm out there on whatever schedule I'm at. What else is going? Oh, let's. Okay, so I'm gonna go on. Tim Price, which is your favorite? Oh, who's my favorite DC hero? Hmm. I've always been a fan of the Flash, just in terms of a concept. Let's see. Batman, when done well, especially back in the Neil Adams, Jim Aparo days, Batman was great. Even uh, up to Frank Miller, his Batman, but one after Frank Miller, what people tried to do with Batman because of what Frank Miller did started to get on my nerves. They learned the wrong lessons from Frank Miller's Batman, and they went the wrong way. So ultimately, historically, my favorite is Batman, but they've done some stuff with him that I don't care about. And I've always had a thing about the Flash. There's something about the physics of the Flash that always fascinated me. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see. Oh, Constantine. Constantine was great. But see, thing is, looking at DC characters, it's not so much the characters as the people who are running the characters at the time. Constantine's first one was great. Sandman's first one was great. Animal Man, the first 30 or 40 issues was insanely good. Animal Man, I don't think is that great a character, but that book was insanely good uh, for the first maybe 40 issues. So let's see. Sec. Wow, thank you very much. Oh, excuse me. Bjorn Kemitz. Throwing isn't my way of showing. It gives me a channel to say that I respect you as family. Thank you very much, Bjorn, uh, I, for that super chat donation. I'm glad to have it. I would love for you to become a patron at just like $1, just so I can give you something back. I don't feel like I'm giving you enough back when you give me a super chat. So please consider doing that, just so I can feel like I can give you a little bit more than what I'm giving you now. Let's see. Yeah, I saw that. I was looking at the wrong part when I just saw the second. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. I don't. Let's see. Let's keep moving on. I have more things on. Let's see. What is Team Skeptic? Let's see. What topics are going on there? Yeah. Things were on my mind. I had particular messages I wanted to give out today. That one in particular to Daryl, and so that's where that one is going. Any questions that are in the room? Let's see if there's any more. Oh, quick shout out to Tech Satan. My last video, which was the up and down and elevation video, I had put out on my Patreon a day or so early, and Tech Satan saw it and had some nice things to say about, but also had a small suggestion about a change. And I took inspiration for that from that suggestion and made a change to the video, and so that was integrated into the final one that went on YouTube. So I wanted to give a shout out to Tech Satan for giving me some feedback on that video before it went out. I think it's a better video because of it. So thank you very much. Let's see what's going on in the room. Wildfires are pretty much done. The rains came in, took care of all that. As far as I know, we're in the clear. That's Craig Riley. Oh, it says someone's asking DCS Beamer. What do I make of MC Toon getting flat earth hero to finally admit his original challenge has been beaten. I didn't know he actually admit. I don't follow flat earth hero. Sorry, that guy gets on my nerves. He's just not. You ever get physically uncomfortable looking at somebody? And I just look at him and I just like something evolutionary in me kind of goes, ugh, I don't think that one is healthy. And so I don't even want to watch. It's the way it goes. So I haven't been following it that closely. He actually admitted that it's been beaten. Good for him. Now, question is, will he pay up? Uh, Someone's asking, how long have I been growing my locks? About this long. Eh. No, let's see. I've been growing them since about 96. And let's see. Yeah, they've been cut several times. I probably cut a couple feet off of these things over the years, just like, I'll clean them up for a wedding or something like that to look neat. But I think since about 1996, I've had these. Yeah, they need to be tightened up. Uh, it's not as tight up here as they could be. But the fact is, if you tighten your dreads up and you tighten your braids up too much, you actually will lose your hairline. And so I kind of let mine stay kind of naturally loose so I don't have a receding hairline. That's what happens. Let's see. Questions in the room. We have. Bum, bum, bum. Copernicus Thinker says, if I can withhold laughing all the way through it, it would be a hoot if you did a live chat / debate with, wait for it, Orphan Red. That one. I've only watched a couple videos because I don't find I can't take those videos seriously enough to watch them to see how the content is. I just can't. I can't take that person seriously enough. It just seems too much like a Poe, like they're just putting this on, and so I can't watch. And so, yeah, the few things I've watched has had some terrible content, but at the same time, part of me is going, "This can't be real, and this can't be worth my time." Uh, did I get Sean Taylor? Sean Taylor? Did I get your super chat shill money from NASA? I don't think I got it, dude. Yeah. Let's see. I saw a money amount go by. Oh, that's not Pliskin. You sent me something the other day, not Pliskin. Feel free to do that every so often. Don't flood me. Don't flood me with stuff. Maybe once a week, if you see something that's got some really good information, feel free to send it on to me. When I get some downtime, I catch up on those emails. That was you sent me some a website with a tremendous amount of new stuff in it. I didn't get a chance to go through it all because there were a lot of things posted. But if there's a particular story that you think is interesting that I might be interested in, feel free to send that to me. That's it's not out of line at all. I appreciate it. Mhm. Has NASA removed the lens cap yet? Maybe they're planning to send a human to Mars to remove the lens cap. I think it's off. Yeah, no, Orphanet. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Uh, Copernicus Thinker, I don't know who Missa is. I don't know what's going on there, but it sounds like it's interesting drama going on. Yeah, I know. Yeah, going into Sean Taylor, what am I supposed to be scrolling up to see? There's a lot of things to scroll up at. Call it out, and maybe one of my mods can find it for me. But there's a lot of stuff to scroll. Anything else going on? Check my list of topics to discuss. Oh, so my cold moonlight test. So today I did the last bit of content filming in terms of going out and getting some more content for my cold moonlight test. I wanted to get some stuff during the day that just a little addendum to stick on it. Um, Stuff that's been done before on other people's videos, but I just wanted to get a shot at it. So I needed to have a day when the sun and the moon were in the sky at the same time, a clear day. And in California, it's been raining and things like that. So this is the first clear day. Um, I was able to get some uh, moonlight temperature readings last weekend. There was a clear night, a relatively clear night. I also wanted to get some non-moonlight temperature readings, and so I had to get it to the same situation. What happened was, yes, there's a new video came out in the cold moon test. Who was it that beat me to it? It was Where's Wally? Right. Where's Wally got that up? We were talking about it, and he got his out first. He has a different angle on it, which I really appreciate because it's more technical, and so we don't cross over in our content at all, which is great because I love it when there's same subjects are being attacked from different angles. So I was able to film, get data for objects on a clear moonlit night, on a clear non-moonlit night, and in different scenarios. But what happened was it started raining, was overcast, and I wanted it to be the same level of clear sky. I didn't want to have a clear sky with the moon doing the test, and then the next day be kind of an overcast night with, well, the next part being an overcast night with no moon in the sky, and have people use that as an excuse. So I had to wait until there was another similarly clear sky with no moon, because as time has gone on, the phases have changed and the moon has been rising later and later. So I was able to get a clear sky with no moon and get the same objects in the same situation to get similar readings. And yeah, they're not going to like the data that comes out of it. I actually haven't looked at the data that much. What I did was I just recorded it in 4K. I try not to figure it out while I was recording it. I just recorded it. I put my camera over the thermometer, so looked at the readings. I wasn't trying to keep track of which one was higher and which one was lower. I was just kind of speaking out what they were and recording them. And what I'll do is I'll review the footage and I will zoom in on the gauges. So then I will really have an idea what the temperatures were. But I didn't want to kind of bias it in the moment by going, that seems higher. Hey, everyone, that's higher. Or maybe taking another reading because I think it should be lower or higher, and then trying to read it and manipulate. I just took the reading and recorded it and didn't react to what the actual data was. So it's really coming across as kind of the standard middle school / high school science experiment. And so I've got all the footage for the data. I'm going to look at what it is so I can start scripting it out, and then it'll be up in a few days. And of course, globe deniers aren't going to like it. Let's see. Do I get some more? Oh man, a whole bunch came in while I was not looking. Let's see. Did I get my super chat show money? Rockin' Robbins is asking, why does anyone think we can debate with flat earth cultists? Debate means two things: agreement on the standards of truth and honest participants. You're not wrong. They don't meet either requirement to sit at the debate table. Why give them a pass and legitimacy by debating? I agree with you wholeheartedly, Rockin' Robbins. Globe deniers are anti-science. They will claim that they are not anti-science. They're just anti-scientism or anti-pseudoscience or anti-bad science. But what they are is they are anti-science. They have a set view of what everything's supposed to be, of what the answer is supposed to be. If the science supports their answer, they support the science. If the science does not support their answer, the science has to be wrong. That is anti-science. That is not being legitimate in your argument. If your position isn't supported by the science and the data, you need to change the position. Don't tell people to change the science. And the fact that they do that makes them completely anti-science, makes them not worthy of a true debate. That's why I tell people I'll talk with somebody. I'll have a chat and a conversation with them, but we're not going to have a formal debate about it because you don't rank to have a formal debate. You don't have enough respect for facts. So I agree with you, Robin Robbins. Let's see. Do-do-do-do. Am I voting for DFOTY? Yes, I am. I think I've already voted. I think I've voted for Flat Earth Hero uh, Pay Wolfie. I think that's what I voted for. Let's see. What is the dumbest flat Earth evidence someone has suggested or claimed? The dumbest. Cold Moonlight is pretty good. The dumbest. Hmm. I'm still a particular fan of the Morgiles that the sun and moon are projections that are decoded by our minds or subjective. Yeah, our subjective element. That way you put it, subjective elements that are decoded by our minds or something like that. That was some mental ninja that I found fascinating. Uh, that might be one of my favorites. So, and Jeffrey Bozer saying, I saw a vid of one of those Mylar emergency blanket parabolic reflectors and wondered if you could do that for moonlight test too. Um, I'll try to mention it in my video, but there is a problem with bringing objects in to magnify moonlight. It has to do with the way heat is radiated and things like that. People think that you can bring an object in and magnify the moonlight and do all that kind of stuff, but it's not possible to do that without introducing another object in there. And I'll talk about it in the video. When you introduce another object, that object radiates heat of its own and changes the situation. So I don't do anything like that, and I don't do things like that for a specific reason. And I'll make sure I mention it in the video. I can't deal with the Mandela effect. That's just Mandela effect is one of the stupidest things I hear about, and it's just one of those things that's so absurd. Let's see. Who wanted to make sure his name was mentioned? I've looked a little bit at Torque the Line and seen some pretty. Who did a video on Torque the Line? Um, a subscriber of mine sent me a link. See if I can find it because I want to give that person prompts. Let's see. Subscriber of mine sent me a link. Is it Salamod? No, I can't remember. So someone sent me a link of a video they did against Torque the Line, and it had to do with, I guess, Torque the Line did a video about how a mirror that's low below a bunch of street lamps can reflect uh, the street lamps that are higher, and that's how sunlight gets on the bottom of clouds. And they use this mirror. And the second I saw it, I knew what the problem was. And this person who made the video pointed out right off the bat that the mirror had a clear edge. And so what you were getting where you were getting light coming in to that clear front edge of the mirror and then reflecting off the interior surface of the mirror. It wasn't actually coming in from underneath. So what they did is they did the same experiment with a mirror that did not have a clear edge in there, and it didn't work. And so that was the first. That was a Torque the Line evidentiary video, and right off the bat, I could see that it was garbage. Oh, so no, I did not see oh, so that's what sorry, I thought you were joking about the show money. I did not see your super chat. So I'm gonna go look for that super chat. Let's see. Super chats today so far are Renee, Calucia. Thank you very much. Let's see. You gave me a super chat, which is great. Then you tried to say that analemma destroys the globe doctrine. It does not. It shows that you are not paying attention to the science. Let's see. Bjorn, thank you very much. I've already mentioned you. Dubitat, asking about non sequitur. Sean Taylor, there you are. Oh, so that's you, only that's how much you get. That's only how much you get from your shill money from NASA, dude. You know you got to talk to HR, man. You need to get a little bit bigger cut. You got to get a little bit more from that because they're not paying you enough. Keep fighting the good fight. Chris Killing, thank you very much. And Anthony Garrett, thank you for your super chat. Just want to make sure that I did not ignore those. Funny how I bring so over the line is saying funny how I bring up an experiment that can measure the curvature to a high degree and you redirect to a failed experiment about light. I didn't redirect because let's see. Uh, See, you bring up an experiment that can measure the curvature to a high degree. All I see is you saying, "Have you checked out torque the line?" That's not directing me to a specific experiment. All you did was mention torque the line. The only torque the line thing I have seen in the last week is the one I mentioned to you. That's not redirection. Stop putting things in there to uh, to try to make yourself look like you've made a point when you haven't. Mm-mm-mm. Get a hold of Unirock. Let's see. Well, the torque the line experiment, I thought torque the line was a person. So send a link, or I'll try to look that up. But I'm not in the habit of just running around and going on wild goose chases from flat earthers. But hold on a second. I'm gonna copy this, and I'm gonna send. I'm gonna paste a reminder myself to look that up. All right. So it's a fishing line experiment. Yeah, I'm not sure what the fishing line experiment is, but fishing line experiments won't. If you're talking about like stretching a fishing line out of it, there's no way to get enough tension on that thing. It's just not going to happen. It's the best experiment you've seen. Okay, I'll take a look at it, and I will do a report on it next week. How about that? Give me homework. Take care, Copernicus. You're taking off. All right. Peace. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, you can post a link there. And yes, Harry Wheeler, the sag in a line will be tremendous. The amount of force that's required to torque that line would be too much. It would snap any line that you'd have. Said experiment hasn't been done. There, go fund. Okay, I'll take a look in because it's probably something that won't work. Why go fund me something that absolutely won't work? Um, Let us see. Yeah, optical cables are great. Okay, so I think we're caught up on those questions. There's see here something about D Marble's test distance going through. Uh, let's see, half a mile of woods on two separate islands. I didn't notice that. Let's see. That's funny. A lot of people. Oh, more questions over here. Let's see. Someone's asking They're in the questions, they're talking about the music. Let's see. Let's see. On behalf of Rich Dick, where is the "I Don't Lose" from in my outro song? The "I Don't Lose" is Keanu Reeves in the movie Devil's Advocate. So that's him uh, talking to uh, the devil, talking to uh, I'm blanking on the Al Pacino, and the the tempo of his voice really isn't even changed in that one. That's actually how he says it. He goes like, "I don't lose. That's my job. That's what I do." That's actually how he says it. A little overacting in it. And again, that music was made by a friend of mine, Iceberg Slick, that goes by Mr. Gates, and also goes by Dark Hater on YouTube, Haterazzi on YouTube. And that's a beat he made back in the late '90s in a physical mixtape, and I ripped it onto digital. So it's Devil's Advocate. And let's see. There's also the intro song is not Jizza's intro song. That's actually from it's Jizza and this and Iceberg sampled from the same movie. Got my phone ringing here. Excuse me while I mute my mic for a second. Okay, it's done. Uh, that's sampled from movie Shogun Assassin, also known as, well, I remember it as Lone Wolf and Cub, but it was re-released as Shogun Assassin, and Jizza sampled it for his song Liquid Swords, and my friend Iceberg was inspired by it and sampled it for his song called was it called Assassin's Son, and they're not the same song, they're just sampling from the same movie. You wouldn't know Iceberg. He's who's this? Skyja is a he's an artist out of Vegas. He does music on the side. He used to do a lot of music in the late '90s. He's just his own guy. He does beats for other people, but he mostly is a painter. He did this stuff here behind me, and he did all that music. And so he's not a famous person. He's just a cat that's talented and does stuff. And so he's not like a music producer you would know. All right, let's get caught up on this chat. Anon's asking why I allow my mods to delete things for no good reason. I don't know what you're talking about. It sounds like you are doing exactly what I told you. You're just proving my point by being dramatic. It's amazing. Any other questions in here? Back to mods. Okay, here we go. Oh yeah, a few came in. What did I think about Iron Fist on Netflix? Season 2 was much better than season 1. They fixed the character, but they didn't do it enough to keep it from getting canceled. But it looks like all of the Marvel stuff was canceled. It's it's not working with whatever Netflix's business plan is. So it's too bad because I liked pretty much all of the content to greater or lesser degree, except for Iron Fist season 1. I actually disliked Iron Fist season 1. Let's see. Thanks, Abe. My wife says thank you for proving you're right on that song. Okay, excellent. Let's see. I got that about Unirock. Let's see. Yeah, the thing about GoFundMe is that if things don't work, you still get the money. That's an issue. I'm not going to address that. Soft tissue Soft DNA tissue and dinosaur bones. That doesn't sound like a question. That's just like a short phrase. I can't really address it if when I called Jeranism, this is Liam. When I called Jeranism the dumbest flat earther, my mom asked me who the smartest ones are. Uh, do I know who they are? Oh, hold on a second, folks. I'm gonna pause. Well, I'm not gonna pause. But my son is talking. What's up? Do you need something? Do you need me to? Okay. Good morning. Oh, my son had a belt test yesterday too, so he was wiped out. He just now woke up. Long day for everybody. Let's see who the smartest ones are. Um, what's his name? The fact that was the name Bob Nodell, the one that's not a the type of pilot that he claims he is. The fact that he recognized that his gyroscope experiment was disproving the flat Earth says he's not wholly stupid. The fact that he wants to disregard it and move on to something else says that he's disingenuous, but he's obviously not stupid. Let's see. Tech Satan. It is not necessary to post things that Anne is asking because all he is doing is trying to get attention and bring drama. So you don't need to post questions that Anne is asking because they have nothing to do with anything. What did I think of the old show Heroes? I thought it was great until it wasn't. But the first 2.5 seasons that were pretty solid, and then I think there was a writer strike and things got weird. But it was a solid show. It was a solid show. Mhm. All right, cool. Caught up on those. Bob the Con. Yeah, I thought Wolfie did a great job of looking into that. Wolfie does a great job on most things. Let's just be honest; he's really good at what he does, and he's putting in good. He's putting in the time, and I'm glad he's getting the recognition he deserves for it. But that was good. I didn't follow No Doubt, so I just assumed that he was being truthful. And it's fine. He seems to know about piloting. Assumed he was being truthful, but if you want to be taken seriously, you just have to be truthful about who you are and what you do, or the fact that you were willing to lie about that puts into question whether or not you're willing to lie about other things. When you lie about something like that, it's actually not that important. There was no reason to lie about his status as a pilot. If you're willing to lie about things that aren't that important, it makes us think that you're willing to lie about things that are important. Mhm. What's going on? His Wolfie's flat Earth hero video has 4.6 million views. Yeah, it hit the algorithm, man. The algorithm fell in love with that thing and boosted it like crazy. And Flat Earth Hero hasn't gotten jack out of that. And that's what's hilarious. He was doing it for the purpose of getting subs, and he got nothing. It's amazing. The thing is, you can do things that get you people attracted to your channel. You can get, he's gotten some views for it. He's gotten the most views than he's ever gotten on a couple of those videos, in the tens of thousands. But people see the content and then they don't want to see more, so they don't sub. Doing stunts to get more views doesn't get you subs if the content is garbage. And what happens is people go to his channel, they see the content is garbage, and they say, okay, some reason this is being suggested to me, so I'm going to watch it. And so that video gets a lot of views, but then they go look at the rest of the stuff and go, why would I want to sub to this person? And they don't. And so that's Flat Earth Hero's problem, is he did something to get himself attention, but he didn't have good content in order to get the retention. And so he didn't get the subs. Attention is not retention. Trademark. I have not read Musashi. Would I ever do videos browsing the flat Earth forums such as Flat Earth Society? That'd probably be really time consuming though. Yes, it would. Plus, flat earthers, they hate the Flat Earth Society. They think it's um a a psyop from the CIA or something like that. So it's bringing them up is not a good argument with them. Marvel versus DC. What do I think about Marvel versus DC? I'm always been more of a Marvel fan, but there have been times, all depends on the creators because creators go back and forth, and so there are character wise, I'm more of a fan of Marvel characters. Uh, Book wise, in terms of like what I read, I follow creators more. They the content that they come up with, that's more than the characters now because back when it was the 80s and 90s, they pretty much Marvel and DC both had a bunch of great creators, and then Image came in and started stealing on creators and well, not stealing but peeling off, and then a lot of indies came up, and so now creators are kind of going all over the place, and Marvel and DC don't necessarily have the cream of the crop when it comes to some of these um, content creators. And so I tend to follow them. I tend to follow people I know. So I'm, reading. My buddy David Walker was doing Power Man and Iron Fist, and he was doing Occupy Avengers, and I read Black Panther, of course, with Ta-Nehisi Coates. Um, and so it all depends on who's doing what. Matt Wagner, I do read Mage. Uh, so it's not so much a Marvel versus DC right now. It's mostly what creators are on what books. But I'm more of a Marvel person because they are DC characters were always kind of more iconic. They make for great design, uh, but they are less realistic. They're more symbolic, and so I didn't take them. I don't see them as seriously and as grounded as Marvel characters. Nerd. Hmm. Okay. Do I believe the soft tissue in dinosaur bones means that they are less than 10,000 years old, like to claim about it? No, I do not. uh, Marty Rules, you're saying Flat Earth Hero claims that was part of his plan to give Globers more subs and become a loser on YouTube. Okay, I didn't read the whole thing. That's funny. No, yeah. That's hilarious. Mr. Thrive and Survive needs math help with his math and science. Uh, let's see. Yeah, I haven't gone after Mr. Thrive and Survive because of Conspiracy Cats and Simon Dan. I've been taking care of that. Oh, by the way, we had a little Simon Dan and I had a little side bet about who was going to win the uh, Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury fight. And since it was a draw, I guess we both kind of owe each other T-shirts. But yeah, there was a little friendly wager between us on that one. So there we go. Mm-hmm. Left links in Discord about the torqued line. Thank you very much. Let's see. I'm a little bit behind on the reading. So, Julius Ra, let me see what you're referring to. The Flat Earth Society admits there is no working physical model that demonstrates the flat Earth properties. That's why they hate. They get hate mail from flat earthers. Ah, okay. If that's true, I can understand that. It's true. It's a fact that there is no flat Earth model. There's not, and there never will be because it doesn't work. But so I can see that. Yeah. I I am way behind on Saga. It's because I haven't had a chance to read as much. I collect the trade paperbacks, and I'm way behind, but it's really well done book. Mhm. I'm not sure what Morgan Freeman said on it, Julius Raw. So maybe write that in there and I can respond to it. Just because you believe that soft tissues examples in fossils are more than 10,000 years old doesn't make it true. Stick to science, buddy. Soft tissue can't last that long. Um, yeah, actually, it probably can. I'll look into it, but there are many things that will change the what's the word for it? Consistency of soft tissue over time. So I'll take a look. Let's see. And oh, someone's posting to a video. Oh, thank you very much. I see the video. I'll take a look at it at another time. But now it's in there. I'll get it. You probably posted it before, but I'm just not getting around to it. Xenophobic experiment. Phoebe the xenophobic experiment. Yes, if you want to send me an email, there's a link on the about section of YouTube of my YouTube channel. There's a link there, and you can do that. So, mhm. Moving on. Okay, cool. I think we're caught up. Sean Taylor, yes, cryogenics. Let's see. What else is going on in the room? Even the Christian who found the soft tissue evidence says they are far older than 10,000 years. Can someone drop me a link to that story so I can check it out? For the last, definitely for the last week, but for the last couple weeks, I've been literally just all my free time has been preparing for the belt test that I had had yesterday. Um, the videos I've watched have been martial arts based. The things I've listened to have been Indonesian commentary about, Indonesian walkthroughs of different moves and memorizing terms. So I'm really behind on this kind of news. So feel free to send on. Carlos Pagan, thanks for. Oh yeah. Oh, so Carlos, were you the one that did the the video about the mirror with the mirror situation? Because that was a. Let's take a look here. Let's uh, let's go to your channel. Yes, it was you, Carlos. I don't know if you've made it public. Have you made it public? Yeah, Carlos, feel free to post a link to your the video you did about the uh, sunlight under the under the clouds on the bottom of the clouds, if you can. Sean Taylor's asking if I am into capoeira. No, mainly because I don't have the hip flexibility. I have what is I have acetabular impingements in my hips, which keep me from being able to spread my legs far enough for certain moves. I have a lot of scar tissue there. That's pretty much the only thing that's kept me from doing it. There are certain things in Silat that are very capoeira like, certain moves, which I do to a certain degree of modification. But yeah, I don't have the hip range for capoeira. Thank you very much for the link. I will take a look at that when I am off the air. Let's see if there's anything else going on here. Ah, Ricky D has become a patron. Thank you very much. Let's see. Yeah, so yeah, Carlos, feel free to post a link. That was a very well executed video. I don't know if it was unlisted, but it was good. Duff Beers, hey, how's it going? Critical Think is in the house. What's up? I'm trying to get. Sorry, I'm going to catch up on some of this reading here. Excellent. Yes, I saw part of that TED talk on restoring dinosaur traits in birds. uh, someone is asking JK, uh, someone talking about it's so in the weeds in terms of comic book nerdiness, one above all, losing against Oblivion, that it's that it's not even worth commenting on. That is hilarious though. That's too nerdy for me. That's too much in the weeds on that. Hey, Critical Think, what's up? Derek Raw, we're good. We're good here. How do they get the California aqueduct flow from Northern California to Southern Cal? Why? Why would you? Why is that a question? Mm-mm-mm. I just talked about my moonlight experiment. I did the last bit of filming this morning, and so after I get out of here, I'm going to get to pulling it all together. I didn't look at all the data at the time. I just kind of recorded it and just didn't process it, so I wouldn't react and try to change the way I was doing things because of it. I just kind of did the plan and recorded it. So now I'm going to look at the actual footage and kind of zoom in on the 4K shots to see what the thermometers were saying and things like that. Do that today, script it out, hopefully record something today or tomorrow, uh, and have it out in a few days. It will be on my Patreon first, and before it goes live here. And so that's that situation there. Uh, Hopeful pessimist, Mary Higby Schweitzer is who discovered it, and reminiscent of flat earthers. To see the rationalization from evolutionists to explain this, they twist and turn and come up with silly crap. Okay, thanks for saying that, but yeah, that's uh, that's just an opinion. uh, Blackbird Blitz. So some of these I'm trying to get to. You don't necessarily have to post in the side chat. Ask Greater Sapien his thought on NASA landing on Mars and the NASA handshake celebration by the NASA employees. Yeah, they had a nice elaborate little bang bang that they did, which was cute. It's their little end zone dance or something that they planned on. Um, no, I thought the NASA landing was great. I was actually following it. But I had a meeting to go to, like, during the time that the landing was happening, so I was kind of following things up until, I think it was noon Pacific time or something like that, and then, like, at 12:24, like, it happened, so when I came back to my desk, it had just happened. I had to rewind to see it. But, yeah, and it was something that I wasn't necessarily sure was gonna go down because it's such a tricky maneuver, the timing on that thing, that kind of thing. And there's so many things that can go wrong if the explosive bolts don't go off correctly and things don't get released, or somehow there's a bit a turbulent action that causes things to get whacked or something like that. There's always a chance of something going wrong. Uh, so uh, so yeah, I did follow that. I thought it was great, and their this celebration was yeah. Hmm. Let's see. It's a photo of water that shows curve conditions happen to be perfect. Yeah, that happens. I'm not gonna. Mhm. I don't know. Jism lost his mind over peanuts. Hilarious. No, you can keep copy and pasting, but if some of them I may seem like I'm ignoring it because I'm kind of sorry. This is to tech Satan. Yeah, feel free to copy and paste, but you may notice that I'm getting to some of them already. I'm trying to catch them in line since things are going slow. Let's see. Mhm. Yes. They cannot, the parachutes on Mars cannot be used to land. They're braking things. Well, they are braking maneuvers. The water is level even in aqueducts, but there's still a flow. Going from north to south is the natural flow of water. Mhm. Let's see. New findings or users. Okay, so I think I'm all caught up on those there. All right. Is there anything else that I planned on saying that I haven't gotten to? Let's see. Talk about moon stuff. Talked about D Marble. Shout out to Tech Satan. Good. Got those off my checklist. Anything else that needs to be noted? No, I think I'm good. Let's take a few more questions, and then I'm gonna pull this up a little short of 2 hours because I need to get into the day and get stuff done. I see a type in there. Right. Sean Taylor is mentioning that the landing final descent is done with a rocket platform and an airbag system. Yeah, and that's why I was saying it's such a complex thing. It's not just. It would be really simple if if Mars had an atmosphere that you could just I can just put a series of parachutes out there that will slow it down to enough that it can just land on a simple cushion with just like say shocks at the bottom, but it doesn't. I think it slowed it down to I can't remember what the rate it slowed it down to, but then it released that the heat when the heat shielding was gone, it released the parachutes and had its own little uh, rocket system going. And at least it's not like the last one. Was it the last one where they basically just had the big bouncy ball system, which that's still it's an amazing technical achievement. But yes, so that's why I was saying it's a braking system as opposed to a landing system. Sean Taylor. Mhm. Yeah, it's hilarious. Hopeful pessimist by your definition, mine, of scientific theory, evolution is actually just a belief because there is no repeatable experimentation that can provide empirical evidence of not anecdotal evidence. The problem is that and this happens with a lot of people who don't understand science completely. Your false standard that something has to be repeatable in order to be a scientific experiment. It needs to be testable. Is the true. Sometimes you'll see something that says repeatable, but what it really says is testable. Repetition is one way of testing something. There are many ways of testing things that are not due to repetition. So, in order to be scientific, it has to be falsifiable, which is why creationism is not scientific because it's not falsifiable. You can, no matter what anybody says, you can say, yeah, that's part of it. God did that, so it's not falsifiable. So that makes it automatically not scientific. But it also has to be testable, and so there are ways of testing evolution. There are ways of testing the different theories of evolution because evolution is not a theory. There are evolutionary theories about the mechanisms of evolution, and there are ways of testing those theories. Uh, and so that's what makes them scientific. And they are falsifiable. They are not falsified. They are falsifiable. There are standards that, if they are met, uh, or if there are standards if they are met, or standards that if they are not met would make evolution false. That makes them it falsifiable. Creationism, on the other hand, or intelligent design is not falsifiable because there is no standard that it's held to that if it doesn't meet, it's automatically false. Uh, because they're amorphous on that. So creationism is not a scientific concept because it's not falsifiable. There is no standard that if it fails, people would say, "Oh, it must not be true." So it's not scientific. Evolution, on the other hand, is a scientific theory because it is falsifiable and because it is testable. Repetition is not part of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, even Ken Ham believes in microevolution. Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Microevolution is yes one of those phrases that I find really annoying. There's I believe in microevolution. I don't believe in macroevolution. Someone will say. The only difference between microevolution and macroevolution is time. That's the difference. Uh, enough microevolution. If a microevolution happens enough over a long enough period of time, you have macroevolution. That's basically what it is. It's like saying, uh, I don't believe it's possible for someone to go uh, from this location uh, at the bottom of a building to the top. It's just not possible to go from there right to there. It's not possible. That's the macro evolution. But I completely believe that it's possible to create for there to be stairs to go from here to here. And again, of course, there are stairs to go from here to here. And but they say, but it's not possible to go from here to there. And what they don't understand is that macroevolution is just a series. It's just microevolution over time to go from here to here. So when people say, I believe in microevolution, I don't believe in macroevolution, they are negating the fact that macroevolution is just microevolution times time. Let's see. What do I hold on real quick? What do I think of astrobiology? I think it's an awesome topic. I am not well versed in it. Uh, I'm assuming you're talking about the creation of like the longer molecular chains, like amino acids and things through um, the chemical reactions of objects in space, or is there something else you're talking about? But yeah, I think it's a fascinating concept, um, but I'm not about that's not my field. Hmm. And yes, Shauna's agreeing with me. Yes, parachutes on Mars only act as brakes. Yes, the best example is drag cars. They use the same braking system. Yes, cool. Thank you for that clarification. Just in case people were thinking I was saying something else. uh, the gyro and the ring laser. Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. Sorry, Duff Beers is asking, how was your reaction when you saw the two videos of flat earthers proving globe lately? The gyro/light experiment. I think that's the gyroscope, the ring laser experiment. Yeah, that was. I think that was Bob Nodell, and that was hilarious. Why do people call it the theory of evolution if it isn't a theory? What people in general call the theory of evolution is different. There is not a theory of evolution. There are theories of evolution because of different mechanisms. For example, natural selection is a theory of evolution. Genetic drift is part of the theory of evolution. There are different segments that come together, but there is not one theory because there are many different factors. So But why people call things that way, it's just the way people talk. And I didn't say evolution wasn't a theory. Well, there's evolution is a fact. There's these things happen. There are theories on how that fact happens. It's just like saying gravity is a theory. No, gravity is a fact. There are theories about the mechanism of that fact. Oh, those experiments. I thought you were talking about like like a biogenic you know life and things like that. Abiogenesis and things like that. Yes, I think the experiments they put on those crafts are pretty awesome. Do I have a coalition of YouTube channels that you can be a member of? No, I do not. Might be something to look into, but I do not. All right, let's start summing these things up because I want to get to my day. Yes, theory with a big T is different from theory with a little t, and there's what is considered, the common parlance of theory versus scientific theory, and all that kind of thing. George Pearson, I'm getting to this one here, says it needs to be clarified that not all people who read the Bible and profess Judeo Christian God are flat earthers. I know this. My parents are Christians and they do not believe in the flat earth. They think it's absurd. Most people in my family um, are religious, and a lot of people I know in life are religious, and most of them Christians or Judeo Christian. And none of them believe the earth is flat. So I know very full well it's that most flat earthers are of a Judeo-Christian background, but most Judeo-Christians are not flat earthers. It's just it's like big set, little set inside. Looks like there's a conversation about evolution going on in there. Good for you. Let's see. Do I know how flat earthers explain siphons without? I don't know how they explain siphons. I mean, somehow they'll bring in buoyancy, but I don't. I don't know. They say curvature is supposed to be 8 inches per mile squared, but they also say that you'll notice 1 degree of curvature for every 69 0.5 miles, which is the correct one. Um, well, let's see, 8 inch per mile. That's just like a shorthand. It doesn't actually work over really long distances at all, and it's approximation given a uh, a perfect sphere, which the Earth is not. So you never hear me talk about 8 inch per mile square because I just don't find it a useful thing to talk about because unless you know exactly where you are and what radius from the center of the Earth you are and the terrain you're at, you're just making estimates. It's a ballpark thing. And then let's see, degree of curvature every 69 mile. That has to do with the the total arc of the Earth in terms of like if you divided it into 360 little segments. So that's a different thing altogether. And you don't really notice curvature that way. That's not how we see things. It's about kind of measuring things in terms of a map type distance. Do I agree that flat earthers are, for the most part, trolls and scammers? No. I think they are just people, for the most part. There's the people in the chat rooms, a lot of them are just trolls. Uh, but the people who are making videos, I mean, there might be a certain scam aspect of what they're doing in terms of, trying to make sure they get prominence. Sorry for the phone ringing here. But I just think that they have this mentality of victimhood, persecution, and at the same time a mentality of being the rebel against against the system. They are the hero in the story in their head, and so that's what they're that it's it's all about uh, ego in many ways about how it reflects on them and why they're in this because they don't want to be wrong and they want to be the hero. And yeah, Logan Paul is turning it into a troll war. I'm glad they threw he threw a stink bomb into that whole thing. It's hilarious. Hmm. CGI. Yep. Okay. Hopeful pessimist. Natural selection and evolution are two different things, and you're not being scientific about this. Natural selection is a proven fact. Evolution. All right, we're you're being disingenuous. Natural selection is a mechanism that drives evolution. They are different things, but they are connected. Natural selection is a mechanism that drives evolution. One of several mechanisms. Natural selection is only one. Uh, Mutation is another. Genetic drift is another. Uh, but yeah, there are different things. Anyway, let's see. Hmm. Let's see. Snake. It's a snake. Oh, it's a snake. Okay. Okay. I want to know what the end goal of lying about a flat Earth is. What is the reason millions and billions of people throughout thousands of years have lied? Well, mm, you hear different things from different flat earthers. So if I say what flat earthers think, they're going to say, Why are you trying to claim what flat earthers believe?" This is what I've heard, that there's an ongoing conspiracy about the shape of the earth in order to diminish the role of God in people's lives and give people power. It's one. Uh, that there is a desire to enslave people by indoctrinating them from a very young age into this dependency on the intellectual elite and thus being able to, manipulate them. Uh, there's all sorts of reasons. None of them are sensible. And so it's just nonsense. Was there more in that question? Let's see. Ba-ba-ba. Okay, cool. No problem. More over here. I don't know what natural selection is. A mechanism that tries traits that work and good that tries I think those that spelling threw me off, Sean. That tries traits that work for those environments. Uh, yes, so I say it's a mechanism. It's a driving mechanism, um, and but it is not itself. It's not itself evolution. It's a mechanism for evolution. And if those traits don't work, then that line stops, and then there's no evolution happens. Hmm. uh, Brighton dude, if they wanted to enslave us, wouldn't they be more sensible to dream up religion and use that? Oh, that's what they did do. I don't think anybody dreamt up religion. Well, some people have. Okay, let me just completely retract what I said. Yes, some religious movements were for the purpose of convincing people and getting their money and getting your own little personal harem and all sorts of things to empower yourself. That's like kind of the big church organization stuff. But I don't think religion came about for the purpose of manipulating people. I think it was it's one of those things that just came about through society that were that was trying to answer questions that they didn't have answers for. Ghostface Killer rules. That I don't know if you're being serious over the line. The globe is just a prison to keep people from exploring the rest of the world, so they can have holiday continents to keep for themselves. That just sounds like silliness. No problem, Sean. I didn't understand what the it took me a second to translate your spelling into an actual question, but your question made perfect sense. But the way it came across to me, it didn't. It took a few seconds to for me to understand it. But I understand that English is your second language, and the fact that you speak two languages puts you ahead of me. Uh, but yeah, so that was the issue with that. Hmm. Hmm. Uh, do I know something about the Pac-Man effect? Not really. I've heard it referred to, haven't looked into it. Drop a link if you can. I'm gonna sum this up in just a couple minutes. It'll make it a nice solid 2 hours. But it's time for me to move on. Am Tech Angels asking if I am a physicist? No, I studied physics in college. I was originally a physics major, um, but I didn't know what I was going to do with it. This was back in the 80s when and I was studying nuclear physics um, and mechanical and mechanics. When the kind of the sorry, I need to stretch out the nuclear the physics industry seemed to be really tied to the military actions that were going on at the time. So I really didn't know what I wanted to do with the things that I was learning, and so that and other things made me go on to something that I was more sure about I wanted to do, which was illustration and design. But once a physicist, always a physicist. So I continued that afterwards. Someone's asking what I'm doing. I'm loosening up. Yesterday, I hit things so many times, landed on my hands so many times. Break fell so many times that my fingers are just tense, and so I'm just doing a series of stretches. This is actually something I learned from a Thai dancer. This thing of way to stretch out your hands, and I do it without thinking. So the fact that I'm doing it on camera means I was just kind of comfortable and not remembering where I was. Uh, Sean Taylor saying it's fierce that this Effie thing is going to become a domino effect. Yeah, maybe for a minute, but there's just not enough behind it, and the people who are behind the movement are so deficient in their abilities that it's not going to last. Oh, look, Anne is back. I find it amazing. I find it amazing that my one of my greatest supporters was Anon, and the second he is not getting the attention that he wants, he turns into my biggest critic. He's like Anon is like that little kid from The Incredibles that was Mr. Incredible's greatest fan, and then because Mr. Incredible didn't treat him right, and he didn't, but just because he didn't treat him right that one time, he became his arch enemy. Childish people. I don't have time for that. Uh, so it's amazing. Let's see anything else before summing up. Oh, hold on a second. I'm gonna do this real quick because my neighbor is running a weed whacker. Hold Window. Alrighty. Last few questions. Let's see here. Anybody else off to the side? No. Do I have some degree of interest in the Pyramid of Egypt? Any particular pyramid? I think they're fascinating feats of engineering, especially given the tools that they had at the time. But I don't have a particular interest in them. Anyway, no special interest other than they're just I find them fascinating. Uh, when we start seeing more and more regular space travel, the flat Earth will shrivel and die. But they will call it fake for a long time. um, what needs to happen uh, is people that flat earthers trust need to start going out into space and seeing things. When it becomes more and more common, uh, they won't be able to deny it because right now, since the only people who are going out in space, the only people who are going high enough to see the curve of the Earth are people that have no connection to flat earthers in their life. So they can just say they're lying. I don't trust them. But once it becomes people they know and becomes more commonplace, it's harder and harder to call those people liars. Uh, if your cousin, your brother, someone in your family has gotten into a craft and gone into low Earth orbit for the purpose of like space tourism, you either have to admit that the Earth is round or you need to call your family member part of the conspiracy. Uh, and for some, they'll do that. But when it becomes more and more family members, it's going to be harder and harder for them to do it, and then it will completely die off. Well, it won't completely die off. There'll be people who are, there'll always be some, but we'll see. Let's see. If something is fake, how do you get gas pressure next to a pressurized system with no barrier? JITA 619. When you say, I understand that. JITA 619. When you say that there can't be a gas pressure next to a pressurized, I think you mean a non-pressurized system next to a vacuum with no barrier. You were talking about you're talking about gas pressure. You're not talking about atmospheric pressure. The atmospheric pressure is a different thing than gas pressure. Be, um, Globe deniers always go to gas pressure definitions because gas pressure definitions talk about the container that the gas is in. Atmospheric pressure definition explanations don't talk about a container. So flat earthers always talk about gas pressure when talking about the atmosphere, as opposed to talking about atmospheric pressure. When you talk about how there can't be a low pressure system next to a high pressure system without a barrier, or there can't be a vacuum next to a high pressure system without a barrier, you are not identifying the globe model for the way it is explained. No one in the globe model and no one in science is saying that there is a vacuum next to a high pressure system. No one. Only flat earthers are saying those things. You are the only ones making that statement. There's a pressure gradient that goes from incredibly low pressure, so low that we call it a vacuum. That is not a vacuum, it is just low pressure. And there's a gradient from very low pressure down to higher pressure toward the surface of the Earth. And it is a gradient. That's what it is. There's no need for a barrier because there's no major difference between this section and this section. They are virtually the same. So close that they can be kept at that range by, wait for it, gravity, because there's a force acting on it. Not an incredibly large force. It is a large force because it's the Earth, but there's not a lot of force necessary because there's very little difference between them. It's no difference essentially between here and here. There's no difference, but not enough to be measurable. It's so slight on that gradient. It happens in a flat Earth model as well, but they have no mechanism for it. They just say it happens. So when you say that you can't have it without a barrier, you're not actually talking about the globe system. Okay, Jita. This is for Jita. Okay, this is for Jita to answer. If you're a flat earther, do you recognize that at low altitude, down to sea level, there is higher pressure than there is at a high altitude in the world today? Do you recognize that that exists in the world today, Jita? The answer has to be yes, because that exists. Please answer my question, though. Do you believe that there is higher pressure at low altitude and lower pressure at a high altitude in this world? Whether or not you think it's flat, but that exists, right? Answer my question. Now, don't. I'm already talking to you, so don't tell me to demonstrate something. I'm asking you a question. I'm not even going to ask you the question. I'm just going to walk you through this. The flat Earth model cannot explain atmospheric pressure because it doesn't have a mechanism to explain it. Thank you for answering the question. You say there's a barrier, there's a dome, but between the base of Mount Everest, that someone said, between the base of Mount Everest and the top of Mount Everest, there is a difference in pressure. Correct? Yes. Thank you. But there is no barrier between the two, are there? You recognize that there's no barrier between the area, the volume of space at the base of Mount Everest and the top. There is none. There's no barrier. Yet there is a difference in pressure. So you can have a low pressure and a higher pressure with no barrier in the flat Earth model. Correct? That's correct. So, do you have a mechanism that allows that to happen? What is acting upon these two spots, the top of Mount Everest and the bottom of Mount Everest, that is allowing there to be a pressure gradient, a difference between a high pressure and a low pressure without a barrier? What is acting upon them? It's giving you a moment. Don't berate him or her. I am demonstrating. I am telling you what you're saying. Jita says, demonstrate a pressure with a gradient with no barrier. I just did. The top of Mount Everest and the bottom of Mount Everest is a pressure gradient. There is low and high from top to bottom, and there's no barrier. Correct? So there's no there's no force acting on. There has to be something acting on the atmosphere in that space that's allowing that to happen. But because the flat Earth model denies the existence of gravity, there is nothing in the flat Earth system to allow for that. So flat earthers will say you can't have a pressure system next to a high pressure system next to a low pressure system without a barrier. Yet they recognize there is that in the flat Earth system. They say, but the dome, no, the dome is way above that. Having the dome doesn't explain the ability to have that there. And since they've disregarded uh, gravity, they have no mechanism. Standard physics, the classic model, the globe model, has a mechanism for it. It's called gravity. It is a force that is acting upon all particles to one degree or another between at the low sea level to the high above sea level. And that is causing the pressure gradient. That's what's causing the difference. The force acting upon it. There is a weight. Everything's sinking down. But you don't have that. Flat Earth has the exact same problem that they claim globe models have, that they claim the globe model has, but they don't have a mechanism to deal with it. The globe model does. And that is the difference. You need to recognize your own flaws before you go picking on somebody else. I'm speaking Chinese. I'm not. Yeah, I think the person Jita. I'm trying not to talk down to you. I'm just trying to explain the situation in a way that you do understand because I don't think you're recognizing. Yeah, see, you're not recognizing gravity. Your magic explanation is a theory. No, it's an actual force that acts upon things. You're done. Yeah, you're done. So anyway, well, try to. Anybody else having problems with the stream? Is it going? Are we having speed issues? It says it's okay. Let's see. This feed primary and backup streams have different frame rates going on right now. So yeah, apparently there's a little lag thing happening. Apologize for that. Yes, Nathan Oakley has trained him well. Yeah, Nathan Oakley doesn't ask me that question anymore, and he's ignored the fact that I've already discussed it. He acts like no one's ever discussed it before, and I've mentioned it several times. Okay, cool. Stream's good. Excellent. Sean Taylor says, I cannot breathe on my own without a respirator system because the atmosphere pressure is lower at high altitudes. Yeah, seriously, that's what happens. And flat earthers, they can only ignore so much data. And so they admit that there is a pressure difference between low altitude and high altitude. But they don't recognize that they don't have a mechanism to deal with it. They just say it happens. Low altitude, low pressure systems are next to high pressure systems all the time. When it comes to storms and things like that. And so the fact that you can have a higher pressure system next to a lower pressure system, it just does that all the way up until what we call a vacuum. So it's just the way things go. Yes, and same thing with ocean stuff. So, all right, people. Why are planes pressurized? That's not a real question, is it? Is that a real question? Or you're just asking it for them? Yeah, got to pressurize the planes or they'll expand too much. Okay, yeah. Now you're talking about basics, saying things are basic physics, but you don't know basic physics, so you don't get to speak on it. Sorry. Yes, eye of the hurricane, drastic change in pressure between two places. Yeah, there's no barrier between the eye of the hurricane and the exterior hurricane. Yet there are two different pressures right next to each other because there are forces at work there that are causing it. There are storm fronts that are high pressure and low pressure because there's there are forces acting upon it. We know that high pressure systems and lower pressure systems can exist next to each other without a barrier all the time. There's a difference between that and the artificial systems we come up with, and the fact that they ignore it is just what they do. All right. And on that note, we're gonna leave. I want to say thanks to all the mods, all the people who are still mods, unlike certain dramatic people like Syndrome over there that have decided that they are my greatest nemesis now. So thank you for your assistance with this. A little bit over 2 hours. Had some nice talk. Somebody out there, let D Marble know to take a look at my video and that I was not not criticizing him in any way. I want just an honest message I wanted to give him on his live stream, but I wasn't allowed to do so. Let's see. Thank all my mods who are in the room: Anthony Bailey, Shivanshu, Tech Satan, for all your help today. And thank you very much. Okay, the stream is still going. What's going to happen? What's going to happen is every time I do this, I try to leave this the chat room open for a little bit. But once I stop commenting for about 5 minutes or so, it cuts off. If I sat here and just kept going, it would keep going. But once I leave this room, after about 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes at most, it's going to cut off. So just be prepared to that. I'm not shutting you down. It just happens. Sean, yeah, you've been good. Let's see. Yeah, next time around you'll have one. We're cutting off now, but Jita, thank you very much for your question. I try my best not to call you out personally, but you were expressing a question that a lot of people say. So I thank you for bringing it. It's because other people will watch this and hopefully they'll be able to get that information that you were asking for. So thank you very much for coming and being in the room, even though I didn't agree with you and a lot of people attacked you for it. But thank you for bringing your questions and concerns. Okay. Alrighty. So I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to try to enjoy my Sunday. All of you guys, try to learn something about the world today that you didn't know yesterday. If you can, take a moment to help someone else do the same and have a good time while you're doing it. Take care. Peace.